Live, local, in-depth, Cairo 7 News at noon starts now.
And we begin this hour with breaking news out of Tukwila, where there is a deadly apartment fire. You are looking live here at Chopper 7 over this scene. After nearly 7 hours from arriving, crews are still working to get the flames fully out. You can see the smoke rising from the apartment building there as first responders are still on that scene. They are trying to get this fire fully out. You can see the white smoke there. I'm not seeing any flames right here in this shot from from Chopper 7. Maybe on the middle back left of your screen there are still some flames hours after this was called in. Looking live there from Chopper 7 over Tukwila. And our Lauren Donovan is live on the ground at this scene. And Lauren, you just got an update from firefighters, and they're worried about more than just those flames.
Yes, so this fire, it has been burning for 7 hours, and we're told that it could likely be a situation to have crews here for 2 to 3 days more. Look at the fire raging just now. You can see flames right over there, just tearing down the building as I'm speaking. The major concern for Tukwila Fire is the location of this flaming building. Positioned on a sheer 50 to 75 feet drop, if this complex collapses, it could take out a number of buildings below. That's why more evacuations have already been forced. At this point, we don't know how many people have been displaced. We can confirm all but 2 residents of the Maple Crest complex made it out alive. We've learned the 2 victims are a very young child and an adult woman.
There's families that haven't come out. This is so tragic.
Angela Mills made it out in the nick of time.
The whole building was engulfed in flames before the building alarms even went off.
As did her fiance and 3 of their 4 dogs.
It was so dark you couldn't see even your hands in front of you. The smoke was so bad.
She says one of the pups was lost in the darkness. Firefighters were able to save a calico from the chaos. The cat was wrapped in blankets, placed on a gurney, and given oxygen. Unaccounted for animals are far from the only worry here, though.
People had a friend and her husband and their little boy on the ground floor, and I'm praying to God they made it out.
We're checking with management to see where people are missing, making sure everybody's accounted for.
Tukwila Fire tells us they got the call just after 5 this morning. As soon as crews arrived at the Maple Crest complex, it became obvious they needed backup. Not 1, but 2 ladders extended, dumping tons of water from above.
The fire was large enough that they started out defensive, fighting the fire from outside of the building.
We met Isaac Walker and his wife wrapped up in blankets, waiting for a bus to take them to the Tukwila Community Center. Before they escaped, they remember fire shooting through their neighbor's front door.
Just took off. It just spread it from one side of the apartment to the next. It looked like it was coming from downstairs, but then it looks like it was coming from upstairs.
Wondering what's going to happen next. Where are we going to stay? What are we going to do?
Because of the location, crews cannot surround this building. So at this point, they can only drop water, send it shooting from this side you're looking at right now. And we've learned soil experts and engineers were called in, and that is who determined this hillside behind it is so unsound. We're also told that because this is a death, that the Major Crimes Investigative Unit is here on scene, and we've learned that they've been interviewing all the residents who made it out alive from this building, and they've even double-checked, ensured that they are all alive by having them sign papers. So we're glad to know that they are okay. We'll continue to update you. We'll have another update in the next half hour, so stay tuned for that. But for now, we are live in Tukwila, and we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Such a tragedy out there. 7 hours after this fire was called in. All right, Lauren, we'll see you again here at 12:30 for the latest. Now let's get to the crisis in Afghanistan. The Taliban has taken full control of that country's capital city, Kabul. This comes as thousands of American citizens and Afghan allies remain in the country. Cairo 7's Natalie Brand with the plan to get them out.
The U.S. military has sent more troops to the airport in Kabul to ensure the safety of Americans trying to flee Afghanistan.
Throughout the night, 9 C-17s arrived, delivering equipment and approximately 1,000 troops. Additionally, 7 C-17s departed. These flights lifted approximately 700 to 800 passengers.
In a statement, a Taliban spokesperson claims foreign citizens in Kabul are not in danger.
When it comes to the Taliban, we are going to look for their actions rather than listen to their words.
President Biden forcefully defended his decision to withdraw from Afghanistan and says the U.S. military will remain just long enough to get Americans and our allies out of the country.
Time is of the essence, and we all share a sense of urgency here. But right now, the mission runs to 31st of August, and I won't begin to speculate what happens after that.
Former National Security Advisor to President Trump, H.R. McMaster, argues some American forces should have stayed to support Afghan allies.
They looked over their shoulders and said, who's got our back? And we said, not us. We're leaving.
The concern now is for future threats and the safety of the American homeland.
Most of Afghanistan is ungoverned space. That type of terrain is a potential haven for terrorist organizations, Al-Qaeda and other groups.
Lawmakers, including Democratic Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Mark Warner, say they have questions for the administration about why the U.S. wasn't better prepared for a worst-case scenario. Natalie Brand, Cairo 7 News.
And you can always find the latest developments on this crisis in Afghanistan and more on President Biden's remarks, which came yesterday afternoon. You can go to Cairo7.com for that. And the Biden administration is expected to announce very soon people should get a COVID booster shot 8 months after their last shot. That would create a logjam of people to get that shot this winter right here in the Pacific Northwest. Cairo 7's Renji Sinha looks at the implications of the booster.
The Delta variant has renewed interest in vaccinations, especially when it comes to getting a booster shot. Now, in theory, if you were going to get that booster, you might be able to do it months away from now. Here at this Safeway pharmacy, you can see they're advertising free COVID-19 vaccines. So the Delta variant is one reason why that booster may be required for all age groups who are fully vaccinated.
We live in a society of people, right? And we live in a city, and there are many people, and I think it's our responsibility to protect each other from the variants.
For Ben Ruffins, being fully vaccinated meant being free after a year of COVID-19 restrictions.
Physically fine, a certain sense of relief, yeah, freedom, but fleeting, right? I got my mask in my pocket.
Now with the Delta variant, people are wondering whether they could be the next breakthrough case or next carrier to spread COVID-19. Those are the reasons federal health officials could recommend a booster shot over the winter. If they mandated a booster shot this coming winter, saying you need it to protect against the Delta variant and protect in general, would you get it?
Yes.
I think, especially in the context of a new variant that's out there that likely requires high levels of protective antibodies, I think the booster is really going to help with that.
Dr. Bernard Kaur says having a booster vaccine 8 months after being fully vaccinated would not be a surprise. CBS News did interview one of the first people to get vaccinated, who also was one of the first to get that third dose.
I'm taking my cues from the health professionals that I work with to manage my Crohn's disease, and they're telling me to get the booster. I'm going to get the booster.
The booster plan would impact the vast majority of Americans. Anyone who received the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine will be told to get a third dose 8 months after being fully vaccinated. That could start in September when the vaccines are fully approved by the FDA.
I think that the booster is likely to be basically be the same as what we've received the first 2 doses of in the case of Pfizer and Moderna. Those vaccines have demonstrated clear protective effect.
Across America, COVID cases are rising and overwhelming hospitals. In our region, the chief medical officer for UW-Med said just a few days ago that ICU capacity was essentially 100%. That was resulting in postponement of non-essential surgeries. Some are watching and waiting to see when that third shot may be needed. Do you think there should be mass vaccination again?
Depends on what's actually happening in the environment, and if it calls for a mass vaccination, yes.
One of the things that we're certainly trying not to do is to fall behind.
Now, this Safeway does offer the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to the unvaccinated, and our understanding is that the booster plan would not include people who had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. A recent poll said 62% of vaccinated Americans would get that booster shot. In Queen Anne, Ranjit Sinha, KIRO 7 News.
And we know health officials in Snohomish County believe booster shots will be in high demand there. KIRO 7's Elle Thomas is joining us now from the live desk. And Elle, this comes as cases there continue to climb.
Yep, the county executive says once those booster shots are available, they're going to make sure anyone who wants one can get one. Keep in mind, though, there are still 250,000 people in Snohomish County who are eligible for the vaccine and haven't gotten it. Snohomish Health District says it's that vaccine hesitancy combined with relaxed safety measures and this more contagious Delta variant that's causing the spike. In fact, right now, the county is seeing its second highest case count ever. Just last week, they reported 1,700 new infections. That's up from 400 the week prior. The health district says 20% of those cases were among vaccinated individuals. Still, they say getting inoculated is the best line of defense.
And one of the best ways to overcome an imperfect vaccine effectiveness like we're dealing with now is to get as many people vaccinated as possible. You can overcome deficits in efficacy with widespread high coverage.
Right now, masks are required in Snohomish County for anyone over the age of 5, regardless of your vaccination status. Still, the county says it's a mix of masks and vaccines that are going to make the biggest impact. At the live desk, I'm Elle Thomas.
All right, thank you, Elle. And this afternoon, a memorial service will be held for a Tulalip tribal officer who died last November. Officer Charlie Cortez disappeared after his fish and wildlife boat capsized. This was near Jetty Island in Everett last year. His body was never found. Today, he will be honored at the Angel of the Winds Casino. The memorial starts at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Level 3 evacuation orders are in place near Lake Chelan. The 25-mile fire has burned about 4,000 acres and is 0% contained. About 150 firefighters are currently battling those flames, and more firefighters are on the way. Let's bring in pinpoint meteorologist Nick Allard from the Weather Center. Nick, boy, it's tough east of the Cascades for sure.
Yeah, it's still so dry. We have some moisture there, but you actually have some thunderstorm activity too. Then you compare that to west of the Cascades, and you have mainly just cloudy skies at the moment with temps in the 50s and 60s. You're a little bit warmer farther south because you've had some more clearing. Only 57 at this point in Everett. You can see all the gray here. That's what we're dealing with west of the Cascades. East, we're going to zoom in on some of these thunderstorms a little more closely here and say about 20 minutes or so. But what we're getting right now west is just slowly decreasing cloud cover around Olympia, around Chehalis, and we'll see more and more of that as the day goes on. So any sprinkles that are left, they're going to slowly wind down. We'll see increasing sun breaks turning partly sunny this afternoon. Next few days, more sun, but we also start to get in some upper level haze. I don't think it will impact air quality, but I'm keeping an eye on that. However, late in the week, especially Friday, Saturday, Sunday, some showers possible, not many, but some. And then I think smoke becomes a problem in the lower level. So we have a lot to cover. We'll take a look at that here just at about 12:30.
And coming up on KIRO 7's Hour of News at Noon, pregnancy and the COVID vaccine. The new study from UW Medicine that could help ease expecting moms' minds. Plus, few jobs face trauma and stress like firefighters and paramedics. The first responders who say they are not getting the help they need. And we want to go back to our breaking news that we first brought you this morning just after 5 a.m. Chopper 7 live over this deadly apartment fire in Tukwila. We know a young child and a woman are dead as water continues to be sprayed on these flames more than 7 hours after this fire was called in. We are live at the scene coming up at the bottom of the hour. Keep it here on KIRO 7.